Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Kay, Craig, Shaka and Luis Garcia with you. Before we do get your questions, we have to raise your attention to something that's been put on Twitter by Dan Thomas. And I did show this. It's a text from Stevie Nicol, and it says, "Disaster at the hairdressers." In fact, I showed this to Craig and he said, "That's not Stevie." And then suddenly I heard a shout from the corner say, "Actually, that is Stevie."
That's what happens when you won't pay for a proper haircut.
I can't wait to
He
see
looks like a convicted felon who's just about to go to the gallows.
I love that he won't actually even show his own face. He's that ashamed.
I mean, look at the red. Look at the forehead.
I like little people.
You know what would make me laugh?
It's great.
You know what would make me really laugh if that didn't grow back at all.
I can't wait to see Stevie.
The sad thing is he's off for a little while now, so we're not going to be able to see how long.
He's back tomorrow.
Couple of days. Oh, he's back tomorrow.
That's perfect.
Well, I don't know if he's working tomorrow, but he's back tomorrow.
He'll be back this week.
He's working tomorrow.
I can't tell you, he's on the tee sheet at golf. So I know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you'll let that one go by quietly. All right, let's get your
wear
questions.
a hat, won't he?
He won't wear a hat on here. No, he can't. Craig Huncho says, could even Craig win the league if he was manager of Man City after they add Kane and Grealish, or would he bottle it?
Who bottle it, Kane and Grealish?
You as manager.
Yeah, it's not as easy as you think. So I'm going to say no.
You wouldn't win the league with them?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right, very modest. Rejak Singh, Sethi.
These guys do some really good work, these coaches. It's not just as it's not just as simple as some supporters think.
I'm sure like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would agree with that.
Yeah, well, he's done really well. He's got a new 4-year deal, Shaq.
3 plus 1.
3 plus 1.
3 plus 1.
To stave off the big fish.
All right, Rejak Singh Sethi says, Shaka, if you were in Mbappe's shoes, what would you do? Run down the contract and leave PSG as a free agent, or stay at PSG? Also, if a big player like Kylian decides to leave a club for free, how healthy is it for both club and player's reputation?
If I were Kylian Mbappe, I'd see out my contract and move to Real Madrid at the end of it. I don't think seeing out your contract and leaving, even a big club like PSG, going to another big club like Real Madrid does any damage at all to any of the three parties involved. That's been a part of the game since going back to about what, 98, 99? Yeah, that's about 98, 99. I mean, that's part of football.
Alamin, this is for you, Luis. Should Liverpool fans be worried this season on the goal drought, which happened last season among Mane, Firmino and others? No notable goal-scoring options out of the front three.
No, I don't think so. I think that from last year, the difference is 15 goals, around that, 15, 17 goals, the difference between the year they won the Premier League and this year. And I have to say that, this year you could see that Mane hasn't been in the best shape at scoring goals, but Salah has been outstanding once again. Firmino a little bit low, but this year with Jota, Minamino, players who can add a little bit more at the front three goal scoring, I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to be back with that good precision to score goals like we've seen before.
Do you think that was a bit of an anomaly that they weren't scoring like last
Well,
season?
I wouldn't be too concerned. I'd want my front three to be firing in all cylinders, but I think where one of the big problems is, and we discussed this midway through last week when somebody put the potential Liverpool team up, and the midfield was Jordan Henderson, Thiago and Fabinho. And last year it was evident to me, forgetting the problems at the back, they were not getting enough goals from midfield. And I look at that midfield three at the moment, and there's no goals in it. You know, Henderson's a worker, Thiago's a passer, and Fabinho is a really good reader of the game who can play centre half or defensive midfielder. But you really need goals from the middle of the park. And if you look at Man City last year, Gundogan had his best ever goal scoring season domestically. He was fantastic. And at times when games were tight, he popped up with the goals, as Wijnaldum has done for Liverpool generally. And I do think Liverpool will need to address that aspect of the game, because you can't always rely on the front three It's like when your striker's having a bad time. Striker's having a bad time, Harry Kane's having a bad time, Aguero's having a bad time, whoever it is, then you need the Gerrards of this world, the Gundowans, the Lampards in their heyday, who all got, somewhere between 15 and 20 goals per year. And that really took the pressure off some of the front lines. I think that's one of the things I look at with Liverpool and think, right, if they're having some issues up front, who is going to score the goals from the middle of the park? And we'll see how that pans out.
All right. Yuri Shaka says, does a pre-season embarrassment really affect the team, or do you just shrug it off because it is pre-season?
Shrug it off. It's pre-season. I mean, that's generally the approach. Even, especially early in pre-season, that's not an issue. When I played pre-season, and especially early on, you want to work on specific things. Speaking from my perspective, I want to work on taking my crosses today, so I come for everything that's slung over. Whether I get there or not doesn't bother me the next day at all.
Would it matter for Real Madrid, Luis, that Rangers beat them today?
Definitely a little bit, because to be honest, it's been very quiet on the transfer market. You can see when two of your centre backs are leaving the club or potentially leaving the club, and you cannot find replacement that raise your level for next year, I'm sure that they're going to be worried a little bit. It's not because of the result, it's because what you're showing on the field.
Oh, your social media is going to be good tonight. You slugged Scottish football there. Oh, how can Rangers beat Real Madrid? The Scottish champions.
But that's true, but in the way Real Madrid think, they have to beat everybody. The way that their fans think,
Yeah, but we're only talking about the people that are going to tweet you later. Say, you have demeaned Scottish football again here tonight. Not me, nothing to do with me. I just sweep up, make the tea.
You know what you're doing? You're just stirring the pot.
Just separate yourself from everything so quickly.
I remember.
Unbelievable.
I remember after the year that we won the title at Celtic, and the following pre-season we played Tottenham, and everybody's pre-season starts at a different time. Mm-hmm. And we beat Tottenham 5-0 at Celtic Park. I mean, it wasn't a big surprise. We had a good side with likes of Henrik Larsson and others, Paul Lambert. But we absolutely hammered them. It could have been 10. But we were 2 weeks away from starting the season, and they were, I think, a week into pre-season training. So there's always an excuse out there, but, no excuse for... if Rangers had lost to Real Madrid, that would have been a disaster. My opinion.
Eric Grapper, Craig, what was the most heated encounter you ever had with another manager, and what was it over?
Oh, I had a really... I didn't have many heated with other managers. I actually had a bit of a running battle one day with the late, great Graham Taylor, former England manager, Aston Villa, Watford, and he was going apoplectic at me for kicking his players. And he was screaming at me, Graham, and I went on, I worked with Graham and for BBC 5 Live. He was a great guy, a lovely guy, fantastic commentator and manager, but he lost it. Burley! Screaming at me, and his face was like a tomato red, and I was winding him up. But I've never came to blows with any managers, but I did have a screaming match with...
I like how that's where you draw the line. I've never come to blows with any manager.
I almost came to blows with Glenn Hoddle once.
Really?
What happened?
He took me off. We were playing Tottenham, and we were beating Tottenham 4-3 at Stamford Bridge, and he decided to make a late substitution to run the clock down. Unfortunately, I didn't see it the same way. And when I come off, I threw an absolute strop, right? Of which one of the players told me that I better go and apologise to him after the game in the dressing room.
Did you?
And because I'm quite happy to eat humble pie, I did.
Oh.
Put my tail between my legs and I went in and I said, "I'm sorry, boss, that won't happen again."
And everything was
okay?
okay?
You apologising?
Sorry?
What, you'll never apologise again? Is that what you meant?
I'm sorry, boss, that won't happen again.
I'm sorry, boss, I'm never going to apologise to you or anybody else in life ever again.
I did. I went in. I was in the wrong, so I went in and I apologised to Glenn just in case he dropped me the next week because he wasn't happy.
Fair enough.
What?
I
What?
can admit when I'm wrong.
Can you?
This doesn't happen often.
Yeah, just comes 30 years after. Just 30 years later, I'll tell everybody I was wrong.
Shaka, did you ever have a run-in with a manager? No. Luis?
No.
Yeah, I had once in Mexico because he took me out of the game at 32 in the first half, and I wasn't happy. I was already 35 years old, so I got my experience. I always treat him very well. We had a good relationship. The week didn't work out as we planned, and we were losing 2-0 at the same time, and I play as a striker, so it wasn't my fault at all, or at least all of it, and I think it wasn't the right change, and I went to have an argument at the same time.
Who was the manager?
Not happy. No, I can't tell that.
All right.
I don't want to mention his name. I'm so sorry.
All right, we'll find it.
I tell you, going back 32 minutes, that's early, but there was almost one that was going to beat that until the coach. I think I've told this story, but I'll tell it again because we'd like to regurgitate stuff on this show.
Go ahead.
So why not? At Chelsea, when Ruud Gullit was the manager, we had a left back called Scott Minto. Remember Scott?
Yeah, I remember Scott. I played with Scott at
West Ham.
West Ham.
Terrific.
Right.
Good left back. Terrific left back. And he wasn't having a bad game, but the game had started badly for us. And Ruud Gullit wanted to make a tactical switch. And that tactical switch meant he was going to take Scott Minto off. Unfortunately, the clock hadn't even got to double figures.
Really?
I think it was coming up for 10 minutes. And Graham Rix, who was the coach at the time, apparently said to him, listen, we need to have a rethink here. You know, if we're going to change things, fine, but you can't take him off after 10 minutes, or 9 minutes. You'll absolutely kill him. He'll be dead. You know, his confidence will just go. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Because you couldn't explain that. You know, don't worry about it. It was only because I wanted to make a tactical switch. So, fortunately, Rixie talked Ruud out of doing that. Because that would have been. I'd have loved to have just sat back and seen the fight.
See what happened. That would have been early. That would
have been.
Okay.
Early.
On the same token, then, maybe you will give us a name here, Luis. Who was the most underappreciated player you played with?
Underappreciated. I don't know. I had a few but I think Steve Finnan, the right back for Liverpool. He was an outstanding player, and he always went under the radar. Everybody praised him after because of 2005 final, but he gave so much during 4-5 years. I think he was in Liverpool, and he was an amazing player from the wide areas. He put a lot of good crosses, scoring goals. He was an amazing player for us during those 3-4 years that he was there. So I think Steve Finnan was one of the best ones.
What about you, Shaka?
I'm going to go for two defenders. At Newcastle.
Peacock.
Correct.
Darren Peacock.
Correct. Darren Peacock. I think in a side of stars and in a team that wanted to attack, Darren Peacock was easily our best defender, which it didn't show itself because I was a team built to attack. I mean, everybody was just going forward. You had two other centre-halves in Philippe Albert and Steve Howe were great passers of the ball, but Darren Peacock was just an out-and-out defender. And then at Portsmouth, very good friend of mine, Linvoy Primus, who seemed to have been on the transfer list every single pre-season, but one of our most valuable players at the end of that season. Every single year was there. Incredible player and desperately undervalued by whoever was in charge.
Right.
I would say it would have been my time at Celtic. Chelsea, I think, was... No, not really. My time at Celtic was a guy called... and actually, he was the number 2... he was the assistant coach for Yeoman for Denmark during the Euros. A guy called Morten Vikhorst. And Morten was a Danish international, and he was a central midfield player like myself. And it was sort of myself and Paul Lambert got all the kind of got the headlines and that and stuff, along with Henrik Larsson and all these. But Morten Vikhorst was an amazing player. He was 6'3", fast over the ground, a lovely touch, great technical ability. But never, I felt, wasn't underappreciated by his teammates, but I always felt the supporters underappreciated actually just how good he was. And he was really, really a terrific midfield player. He was an international, but he didn't get, I think, the headlines that he should have done. Fantastic player, and he's now, as I say, he's now coaching the Danish national team.
Yeah, so obviously doing pretty well
He's
there.
doing pretty well. I saw his hairline, and it's the same as everybody else's.
Stevie's? Same as Stevie's?
It's heading back the way. Stevie's hair, Stevie will have to brush his backside, won't he? With that hairline.
That was a nice question from Kelly. Frank LeBuff next says, Luis, what was your go-to skill you used as a winger to beat defenders?
The control. I think that it was the best thing because I wasn't one of those players who could do a lot of tricky things on 1v1s because I wasn't very big, I wasn't the fastest one or the most powerful one. So I used to try to arise always first to the ball, and with that control get advantage. So I think that I will say that controlling, I think, is one of the most important things on football, if not the most important. And sometimes we don't give the credit at those players. So just with the control, they pass players and clear the scene for the rest of the players.
Last question is from Dan the Orange Man. Craig,
Wow.
would you rather call managers by their first name,
No.
watch a match of the Gold Cup,
No.
or refer to Scotland as we? And I want a power ranking here. I want first,
Power
second,
ranking?
and third. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So what would you rather do of the three? Or you can go backwards if you want.
Well, I can always correct myself if I say we. So that's in it. That's in it.
Now that's cheating. You have to call them we from now on in this would you rather situation.
All right. That's bottom of my list then.
Okay.
That's the one I don't want to do.
That's the one you wanted to do least.
Yeah, I don't want to be using the word we in broadcasting.
So that's number 3.
Yeah. Well, that's the strongest. No. Power
How
rank.
we go? All right, yeah, okay.
That's number 1.
No, but
We go 3.
That's in the power ranking.
put that
Yeah,
as-
fine. But
okay.
this is
We
if
put that as
would you
right. Put that
rather.
as
So
right.
what would you rather do first?
And then, unfortunately, I would then have to say I want to be watching. What way are we going here?
I don't know which way you go.
All right, we'll do it in power ranking because
Whichever
I'll
way.
confuse it. Because the question is, would you rather? But if we're to give a
would
power
I
ranking,
rather?
yeah, would you rather?
Oh,
So that means we.
What would,
Is,
out of that 3, if you had to
3.
do one, which comes first? Which is the one you do?
Oh, I watched the Gold Cup.
So that's
Even though I think it's an absolute poxy competition with rank rotten teams in it. I'll upset anybody. And but I'd force myself to watch it rather than say we or call a manager by his first name like I'm buddies.
And if you had to choose between calling a manager by his first name or referring to Scotland as we, which one would you go? Which one would you do?
You'd still call a manager by his first name, right?
No, I would probably say we.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
That was a good question, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that.
Made you think.
I
laugh.
don't like. Don's the worst.
Frank,
Frank.
Pep,
Frank.
Zizou.
Ollie. Don was Ollie, Frank, Nuno
Oh,
from the
Nuno.
other day.
Yeah, Nuno was the one from the other week.
Nuno from the other day. Stevie G. That gets me. Stevie G. Stevie Gerrard. Stevie G. I mean, that's what you call him if you're on the training ground.
Maybe he's just best mates with them all.
Don hasn't got any friends. Right, Don wasn't. He hasn't got friends, right? He's a recluse. I tell you, I'm going to see the boss. I'm going to tell the boss, ask the boss. Whenever anybody does this, there have to be some sort of sanctioned financial penalty for calling people their first names if they're the manager or a player. How's that?
Even if you played with them or are friends with them.
No, we're not friends anymore. There's no friends here.
All right.
There's no friends. We're just ships passing in the night. We're not friends anymore. We're broadcasting. They're players. We're broadcasting. They're managers. We're broadcasting. We're not friends. There is no friends in this game.
All right.
Don't agree. See, that's a problem I think with TV now. There's too much friendship between
Right.
people. They say, and it's too matey.
We're actually.
You've got a problem
What did
with
everybody call? No, I've not got a problem with it. I understand. Maybe it can sound a bit too pally and familiar
No, it is.
sometimes.
I have a producer in England text me and said, "Oh, it drives me nuts. Drives me absolute nuts when."
It's hard not to though sometimes.
No,
'cause
it's not hard.
Most people refer to Pep Guardiola as Pep.
No, I don't. It's got
A lot of
Guardiola.
people do.
Guardiola.
Okay.
Call him Guardiola. Call him Klopp.
All
Not
right.
Jurgen. It's not my friend.
I think there's just somewhere. Sometimes it's easier to say the first name than it is the last
Well,
name.
get round it.
Or-
Find a way around it. Are you going to get?
Just out of interest,
time.
then, Luis, what did you guys call Stevie G on the
but-
training field?
Oh, Stevie G.
Yeah, Stevie, I guess. Yeah.
He's now going to have to call him Gerard.
But now, by Craig's rules, you're going to have to call him Gerard.
No, it's not, because Lewis is Spanish and the foreign guys are allowed to do what they want.
Oh, okay. No, there's rules and levels.
Certain levels.
And languages, apparently.
Don Hutchison has to stop calling these managers with their first name.
All right. I want to end on everyone's favourite ice cream, which has been asked before, I think, but I watched yesterday's Extra Time and I'm nodding away at the ice cream conversation, Shaka.
Jenny's. Goat's cheese and red cherry. I brought some, okay?
I'll help you finish that.
Go on, you want me to go get it? Should I go get it?
Yeah. Craig.
Come, some ice and some spoons. You've got ice cream, look.
Craig, what's your favourite flavour?
I'm on a diet. Oh, I thought that was going to splatter.
You're on a diet? You've been eating
There's some
chocolate?
spoons up there. There's some spoons. It's a little bit melted now.
Is it melted?
Yeah, it was in the
Luis,
freezer.
what's your favourite ice cream?
Caramel.
Oh.
Vanilla with caramel.
Give me some of this.
Caramel ice cream. Sorry that you're in Ibiza, Luis. You lose.
Yeah, I can see that. You're enjoying it. Huh?
Look at you. Look. You're such a child.
Mess.
Look, all over your notes, Kayla. Look. But it's good.
Don't need them now, do I?
It's good, right? It's grown-up ice cream as well. It's good.
I wouldn't have expected that to be as good as it is.
It's good.
Not bad.
Like,
Let me know next time. I'll get mine.
When Craig says it's all right.
We'll send you some, Luis.
We'll send you some over right now.
Might be melted.
It's on its
by the
way,
time
Luis.
it gets to
I promise.
Ibiza. You're just going to have to enjoy Ibiza instead. We're going to go and enjoy this ice cream. So thank you so much for joining us on the latest edition of Extra Time. Craig's fuming that we're calling Jenny's ice cream by Jenny's first name.
Comes highly recommended.
Don't forget, ESPN FC is available daily. You can get it on ESPN Plus.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.